My name is Randi Lowe, and I am the Superintendent for the Bennington-Rutland Supervisory Union. And I'm here today to talk to you about work that the Taconic and Green Regional School District is doing as they're exploring reconfiguration options, middle school, how we operate as a system. We've got some important decisions to make, and so the board is hosting a number of forums in which people can come and hear information and provide information, ask questions, make comments to better understand what's going on within our schools. So the Taconic and Green Regional School District has 5 schools: the Courier Memorial School, the Dorset School, Manchester Elementary Middle School, Floodbrook School, and Sunderland Elementary School. And the district has been seeing declining enrollment, which has been challenging. We've got a couple very small schools, Sunderland Elementary and Courier, both have approximately 50 students in them, and so that's created some educational challenges with programming. We have multi-age classrooms, so we have teachers teaching multiple content areas. We are really working towards providing a valid, stable, evidence-based instructional program, and so we have new curricular materials that depend on fidelity to instruction, which is really hard to do when when you're trying to teach multiple grade levels. So teachers are challenged by that. We have situations where our interventionists that are supposed to be providing additional support and services to students that are struggling are providing that classroom level instruction because a teacher can't teach both grade levels, which means the students in the school are not able to access those resources. With a school of 50 students, we don't have a full-time counselor there, we don't have full-time nurses at the schools, and so all of that can be challenging operationally. What really started this work for Taconic and Green was a discussion about a regional middle school. So while we're looking at overall configuration, I just talked to you about some of the challenges we're facing at the elementary level. What really got this started 2.5 years ago was discussion around middle school programming. So we have 3 schools that are grades K to 8, and we had heard for years, we know that this conversation is almost 2 decades old, around how can we consolidate programming and provide a regional middle school experience for our students. Our educational data isn't great for our middle school students. We know that social emotionally, we have a lot of students, particularly in really small schools, where students are having a hard time finding their people, right? Middle school is a time of identity development, and when you only have 20, 23 students in your entire grade, it can be a really lonely and challenging time. Being able to provide a 21st century educational experience for our kids with a group of same grade peers where you can really find your people at a time when you're developing your identity is critically important. A middle school milieu where you can have houses or teams and the entire environment is geared towards the developmental stage of adolescence, pre-adolescence, is really, really important for kids' overall well-being. So that is work that we know is critically important for us as a system. So we've had a couple of middle school committees, and those committees have said, yes, we need a middle school. The data shows it. Parents have provided feedback. We did visioning work. We met with parents, we met with teachers, we met with, the board did work. And 2 committees were pretty clearly saying, yes, we need a middle school. What we realized was that our option for a middle school really is to repurpose the Manchester Elementary Middle School building, make that a middle school, add an addition onto that building, or to have new construction. Any of those options were going to have an impact on the other 4 schools within the district. So that's where we realized you can't just talk about the middle school in isolation. And we knew we were having all these other challenges at our elementary schools. So declining enrollment across the board. I was seeing patterns with inter-district choice. So we have students from all of our schools attending all of our other schools, meaning students from Floodbrook might be attending Manchester. Students from Sunderland might be attending Dorset. All iterations of that. So there is increased mobility. So, so the committees and other folks have spent a tremendous amount of time looking at what makes best to meet the educational needs of our students, to ensure that our teachers have the time, the capacity, the ability to become experts in their content, to provide stability to programming so that students have a stable class size. Right now, just for a frame of reference, we have many classes at our smaller schools, grade levels, where we might have 3, 4, 5, 6 students in the entire grade level. It is really not good for those kids to be with one group of students. Even if there's combined grade levels, they only have a few students for 5, 6, 7 years without exposure to other same age peers. Because you can imagine if I don't get along with somebody and I'm with them for 7 years and there's only 4 of us, that can be a really, really challenging environment. Micro classes, micro grade levels like we're seeing really are not educationally sound practice, educationally and developmentally for our kids. So we're trying to consider all of that. So, there's this idea of 4 options that I've proposed, and I continue to do work on this. I continue to collect information, run numbers, run different iterations of configuration. The 4 big buckets that we're talking about include just keeping things as they are, status quo, which I am not supportive of. I don't believe it's educationally sound for our students to continue doing what we're doing. The other is to reconfigure the 5 buildings we have to create a middle school and move kids around. Another is to close 1 or 2 schools. Most likely, we're talking about Sunderland and Courier. Sunderland is significantly depreciated as a building. It's like 75% depreciated, which by any measure we look at would say it's kind of exceeded its natural life cycle. The other option is middle school. Like, how do we build another middle school? So those options have different price points to them. Obviously, building a brand new school or even an addition of a middle school onto MEMS is going to be the most expensive option. So we're looking at what would the impact of a bond that we would put out to voters, what would that be on the tax rate, and is it a worthwhile investment? That's a big topic for conversation and discussion right now. Also, if we reconfigure and we need to renovate, what are those price points of different levels of renovation? Because we want our students to be able to move our students into a 21st century educational model. We know that the model from the 40s and 50s and 60s is not based in best educational practice, and we shouldn't be continuing to educate our kids that way because we know it doesn't work. So what are the renovations that we can do? What would be the price points? Do we do that at one school? Do we do that at multiple schools? How do we meet the facility needs of the buildings that we do end up continuing to want to operate? So there's a lot to talk about, and we will be hosting community forums over the next month. So we encourage you to come and attend and listen to more details than what I just provided you here. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions. You'll have an opportunity to make comments. If you go to the BRSU.org site, so that's BRSU.org, you can find a list of the community engagement sessions in the area, and you can go to any one that you want. There will also be a link to a Google form that you can submit comments to, share your thoughts, your experiences, and the board wants to really hear from you. They want to learn from you. They absolutely want the public invested in this conversation, discussion, to help for them to make decisions for the greater community. So it's an important time for us as a district, and keeping the educational experience of our kids at the center of our decision making, making sure we're doing best by them now and in the future, is the top priority of the board, and I look forward to hearing from all of you and to continuing to this work in our community. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the coming weeks.